All right, do me a favor, because I know I'm the last speaker. Everybody stand up, because these young ladies said they were jumping for joy earlier. So jump up, get some joy, get some high fives. Here's why we did this, right? Like, let's give a little bit of love to us last speaker. Good. All right, now sit down. All right, now stand up. Sit down. Stand up. Stay standing. Okay, so hold on a minute. Once it works, stay seated. Like, why did you stay seated? Go ahead and sit down. Everybody, real quick. So why did you stay seated when I was like, stand back up? I'm putting you on the spot. You didn't want to, right? There's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to want to do in your life. And I love that Lawrence brought up be really, really freaking intentional on who you are and what you want to do and who you want to be. And I love that I challenged Amy to restate what she said when I said, look, get your perfect client. I promise you life will be better. Tomorrow we get a whole hour of being able to talk about rotational sports and performance and assessment. But we get to talk a little bit about what my true passion is, and that's transforming people's lives. And I can see that's what Lawrence loves to do, and that's getting you to finally figure out, okay, I'm willing to set a BHAG. Does anybody know what a BHAG is? What is it?
Big, hairy, audacious goal.
There we go. So here's my question to you, right? Like, are you willing right now to write down a big, hairy, audacious goal? That means a goal that scares the living heck out of you. Are you willing to do that? Raise your hand. If you're like, I don't even know. If you're here and you're like, I came, but I'm not willing to play, raise your hand. Be honest. It's okay. Because that's why we're here, right? Here's what I want you to do. On a piece of paper, you get to write down a big, hairy, audacious goal right now. Write down what you want to accomplish. And I don't give it in the next 5 years. Let's say 5 years from now. What do you absolutely want to accomplish? Because there's Stephen Johnson, who's an MD who wrote Peaks and Valleys. And there's Stephen Palmer, who's one of the best clinical cognitive psychologists. He's actually out of London, who talk about two different things, right? So there's peaks and valleys in life, and there's peaks and valleys in your patients, there's peaks and valleys in yours. Sometimes you're gonna be in valleys, sometimes you're gonna be on peaks. Sometimes you're gonna get to the top of a peak and you're gonna be like, holy crap, I'm at the wrong peak. I'm supposed to be on that peak. So you gotta go all the way back down to the valley, right? So Stephen Palmer talks about, there's a story that he wrote about this guy and this old man, and it's always a young guy and an old man, like there's just wisdom within it, right? And he says, you know what? If you set a hairy, audacious goal, you're gonna have to go through hell. You're gonna have to go through the desert. You're gonna have to put yourself into comfort zones that you aren't willing to do sometimes, but to reach that goal, that's what it's truly about. Is pushing yourself, finding out who you are, making sure that, you know what, I'm willing to do that. But guess what? You get to choose your hell. That's what I love about this whole entire story. Is that a lot of us, and I love that Lawrence brought this up, is that you guys are going through the motion. You're saying, you know what, I'm comfortable. It's okay. I don't know if I can go off on my own. I don't know if I can expand to another practice. I don't know if I can leave the UK. I don't know if I can move to another country. It's just, you know what? And people tell me all the time too, they call me like, man, you're so lucky you get to do this stuff. I'm like, it's not luck, it's choice. And so what this talk is about is truly elevating your performance. And there's 4 things that we've got to look at. When we look at the athlete, we look at the human, anything that we're talking about. And for those of you at home, I hope that you're paying attention to this, is that we've got the mental component, right? We've got a mental aspect of performance. We've got a technical, tactical, how we do things. So do you have a routine on what you do in the morning, when you get to your practice, when you get done with practice, when you get home, before you go to bed? Is that set up? Within your athletes, do you have a good coach around them that can coach them into performance? Roger, I guarantee that he's getting ready to go do an endurance run, that he has somebody that's helped coach him, or that he actually has done enough of them that he knows what he's doing. But when you're in an endurance world, you have a whole entire team around you. People that are carrying your socks, people that are working on your chafe motion, people that are like bringing you, water, people that are, hyping you up. So do you have that technical support? Equipment. Within our practices, how many of us have subpar equipment? Like, think about this for a minute, right? Like, when you walk into my clinic, like, for a fact, I work with sports. Like, if you don't like working with athletes, don't put athletic stuff in your practice. Like, I'm just being blunt, right? Like, if you want to lose trust really quickly, and you're like, yeah, I'm a sports chiropractor. And like, you walk in and all you have is a subluxation-based poster, and you have like 1950s a bench and like no kind of technology, no objective finding, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying you're probably not attracting your perfect client. Like if you want to work with kids and you don't have an adjustable animal in there, and you don't have pictures of you with babies and kids and moms, like I'm telling you right now, you're doing a disservice to yourself, not the client. Because at the end of the day, you're going to attract the wrong client. Like I love working with kids. People think that I'm just a sports or like a performance chiropractor. Performance starts from the freaking vaginal canal. Actually starts in the bedroom, then the vaginal. And then it goes into like, full on life. Can we agree with that? Because if everybody has a body, and Bill Bowerman said this, if you have a body, you're an athlete. Can we all agree on this? Everybody likes to say I'm a sports chiropractor. I am not a sports chiropractor. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a human performance chiropractor. Like, how many of us can, when we look at patients, some of us are talking about this outside at lunch, like, we get so stuck in this pain model. And we get to this fourth part, this physical part, this assessment part. And like, it blows my mind because I'm like, guys, pain is just only like 10% of the freaking body. Like 10% of the nerve fiber. The rest is motor control, sensory, beautiful, like awesomeness, right? So why are we not changing the conversation as chiropractors and being bold about this and saying, look, wait a minute, I'm in performance. Like I get we got to meet them where we're at. We've had a couple speakers today talking about, okay, meeting them where they're at, absolutely, 100%. But when they walk in your office, like they should know within minutes that you are there for them. Like the first thing that I do with any patient, I'm like, when they walk in, I'm like, how did you hear about our clinic? If I haven't already known. First thing, I walk out, I don't care if I've got a full practice, I walk out and I say, hey Lawrence, how you doing? I know that you just got in here, but how did you hear about us? Awesome, who was your friend? Matt, dude, I love Matt. Like, so immediately, even if I don't like Matt, which I probably do, because I have 100% referral practice, I hate non-referrals, like, but right there, he's like, dude, this guy, okay, he gets me. And then, hopefully, if I've done my homework on performance of looking at these four things, I've called Matt and asked Matt, hey, like, I know you just referred this guy in, tell me a little bit about him. Well, dude, it's taken me a long time, he's a pain in the ass. Okay, cool, I know before I go into my little meeting with him that he's a pain in the ass. Right? So I get to be the pain in the ass back. So you get to mirror who you're going to be able to see. This is performance, this is training, this is coaching. Whether you're on the field, how many of you played an actual sport? How many of you were pushed by your coach? How many of you fed off the energy of the people that were on your team? Like what happened when your captain went down and they were angry, they were frustrated? What happened when your coach flipped out? What happened when you had a freaking helicopter parent in the stands screaming and yelling? Energy is super important, and this is where I'm going to go to in this presentation. So this is my now ex, which peaks and valleys. I get to choose my hell, right? So this which I did, this presentation has a lot to do with my now ex-wife, but there's a beautiful story around it, which is why I'm going to continue to tell it around the world, because I think that it needs to be told. So how many of you wrote in your big hellacious goals? Like, give me one, give me a couple. Who wrote down a really big goal? Buy a house. That's a big goal, right? Where at? So that's BS. That's not a hellacious goal. That's a mini-me goal. Like, I'm gonna buy a house where? Put it down on paper. Where do you want to buy a house? What kind of house do you want? A family house. Like, what does that look like? Three what?
3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms. How many baths?
2.
Okay, do you know the colors?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really important when you're setting a goal, guys. This is really, really important. Because if you can't verbalize it, you cannot visualize it, which means you cannot accomplish it. You are always going to subpar deliver when you underpar what you're saying you want. Can we agree on that? Yeah. How important is that on the path? Massive. So here's what I'm going to do, Rosie, right? I'm going to challenge you before we get done with this talk. I want you to write out your perfect home. And I want you to put exactly where you want to be. And then we're going to come back to it, and all of us are going to meditate on that forward. Can we agree on that? Cool. All right. So this is Dallas, by the way. This is our dog, Chaplin. We lost our other two. That's a whole other story. This is on the top of Humphreys. So if anyone knows me, I'm kind of like I'm going to say I'm going to do something, and I just go do it, right? Like COVID shut down the world. I'm living on the beach in California. I hate being told no. So I basically was on a dating app. when I was consulting for the Dodgers in Tempe, Arizona, and Scottsdale. This girl popped up. She was skydiving by herself, hiking by herself. I'm like, cool. Like, how the heck is she skydiving? It's the middle of freaking COVID. And so I messaged her. I'm like, how are you skydiving? She's like, oh, well, you know, our owner's a Marine. He's not going to shut down because the federal government's not going to shut down. I'm like, cool. Find out if I can come jump. So she found out the price. I'm like, cool. I packed my car. I drove the next day to Arizona. Next day, I'm jumping out of an airplane, right? And I say all this to say that when Source, God, I don't care what you want to call it, speaks to you, listen, because really cool things happen. So long story short, fast forward, we're during COVID, we're like dating, and she has a trip. She was a flight attendant in Las Vegas, and I decide to fly and meet her there. And at this point, we're just starting to date. So I was like, hey, let's go check out this national park. So we pull up, and again, I'm a little crazy. So we get to the national park, and it's like $25 for the day, but it's $80 for a full year. I'm like, buy the year pass, right? Like, she's like, it's COVID. What are you doing spending $80 on a freaking pass? I'm like, here's the deal. It's COVID. Like, the federal government says a lot of our parks are shut down, but they're not. So why don't we just pack up the car and go drive around the country and hit like 15 national parks? She's like, yeah, right, you're not going to do that. Ever tell me not to do something, and that's going to be a big issue, right? So here's the deal. I did. I said, okay, so we go do 15 national parks in 40 days around the country in the US. We adopt a dog. In the meantime, I'm like, I want to go do Machu Picchu. And she's like, we can't get into Peru. I'm like, don't tell me I can't get into Peru. So I called the Minister of Health down there. I'm like, hey, I need a favor. He's like, what's that? I'm like, I know you guys are on double mask protocol. We're not vaccinated. If this is being recorded, I'm okay with it. So he's like, dude, yeah, we got this whole opportunity for you. Why don't you come down? So we go down to Peru. We go spend like a full week. And I'm like, I want to go do Kilimanjaro. I'm like, I don't want to just go do Kilimanjaro. Like, I want to get married to you, and then I want to go do Kilimanjaro. I want to celebrate. That's the first thing we do after we get married. And she's like, okay, wait a minute. We just started to practice, and I don't bring all this together. We just started to practice. You're busy doing that. We've got all this stuff going, and you want to just go to Africa for 21 days. I'm like, yeah. Like, we built a team, number one. But like, more importantly, like, this is something that I know that if we do together, like, this is going to be a big, big, big deal for our DNA. You got to understand epigenetics when you're talking about performance. So, long story short, we get this dog 2 weeks prior, and I was supposed to hike the mountain and come back down. Well, our dog decided to just keep hiking this 14,000 peak, which is the highest peak in Arizona. And we get to the top, and I'm like, dude, that's freaking amazing. We get down to the bottom, and I'm like, I'm not good with the clicker either. Apparently down to the bottom, and I'm like, man, this dog's gonna be exhausted. It wasn't. And it made me realize something. That you ever wonder with kids, and like, you know, we had our kids in here earlier, you know, running around. They weren't my kids, obviously. But we have kids. Kids have a unique energy. But I'm telling you right now, we all have that unique energy. We just have forgot how to tap into it. So when you look at, let me hear another hellacious goal. Anybody?
£1 million practice.
$1 million practice. Why $1 million?
It seems a bit out of reach.
Okay. Can I be vulnerable with you real quick? Is everybody okay with being vulnerable in here? Everybody willing to support her? Okay.
I have a challenge with this goal because I don't feel emotion connected.
Okay, so there's emotion and intelligence
And
when
I
we make
know
decisions.
that when you talked about her house,
Yep.
I have a house, and it's the first house I ever looked at in this country that I couldn't afford. And when you paint those pictures, the goal comes true for me in my life always. And I don't see that with this yet, so I know I have to get there. That's why it seems.
It's not big enough. That's why you don't see it. It is not big enough for you. And I truly mean that. Because I've seen your energy already throughout this whole entire like day. And like you've been able to talk and you've gotten referrals from Amy and you're doing this and you're doing that. We just got to get you clear on more intent of who you are. And that comes down to what Lawrence talked about. And you can talk to him about that. But we need to get really clear on why $1 million. Because trust me, I think you can go bigger than that. I really do. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to keep talking about performance. So Mount Kilimanjaro, like what are you up against? Like you have a big hellacious goal, right? Like I was practicing 5-6 days a week. It was the middle of off season, going into the summer. Like I'm slammed, I'm busy. I'm missing All-Star break, by the way, to go to Africa. And I don't have time to train. So like I'm legitimately trying to get a hike in here, hike in there. I literally just called a buddy of mine from Johnson & Johnson. I'm like, hey, I know you guys did the Human Performance Institute. I wanted to Kilimanjaro. Can you just hook me up with your guide? I honestly, and this is my part about not preparing. So again, there's two parts to this when you look at athleticism and performance, is that do you have the mental capacity to follow through on what you say you're going to do? Like there's 9 things. I had no idea this was going to be 9 geoclimates, right? Like I was not technically 100% prepared. Thank God we had really good weather. But like you start in a freaking rainforest in the bottom of Africa. And you end up going through all of these different areas, all the way to an Arctic environment at like 19,000 feet with minimal oxygen. How many of us are in our lives right now are going through things that we're not prepared for, that we didn't think about? That we're like, holy crap, okay, like, you know what? I probably shouldn't be in this situation right now. Like, just think about this for a minute. So then, we get to Africa. That's why I love what Connor and Michael are doing. Wherever you go, Bill Harris said this from Life University, the hole you give through is the hole you receive through. Always give back. I don't care where it is. Do something small for somebody in that community. Wherever I go in the world, I try to find an orphanage. I do something like whatever I can to be able to give back because that world and that country needs it. And not only that, but they're giving us so much. So make sure you give back. And even in performance, like this is what it is. So,
Good morning.
Morning. Watch this.
All right.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
How would you
Hakuna Matata.
Pole pole.
Pole pole.
Okay, what do you notice about that? Happy, they're smiling. Okay. We go back real quick. What do you notice about that? Oh, that's a great observation. They're not always, but yes, they are all men except for her. Right? Okay, I just want to make a point. But
Good morning.
watch this again.
All right.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
What do you notice?
Hakuna Matata.
Pole pole.
Pole pole.
It's a low energy. They're sitting there, right? They're wondering, okay, I got to take 2 more people on this mountain. By the way, that was our team. I had no idea. I thought I was literally going to have like a Sherpa. We're going to get to this mountain. We're going to get it done. I'm going to leave. I had no idea that was going to be our team. This is day 2, okay? So we get to now we have Kilimanjaro in the viewpoint. And what happens? My wife at the time gets really sick. Now, I didn't fly all the way to Africa to not accomplish this goal. I was like, nope, I'm doing this. This is my dad's special forces mindset. It's like, we're going to do this. We're going to get through this. And she's so sick that I'm like literally on the second day, I'm already getting to know the porters. And I'm like, hey, like maybe you got anything going on? I'm adjusting them on the side. We're the first person that ever went in the tent and offered them anything. So we got to know our community within that system, right? But she started getting cold, she started getting diarrhea, she started getting sick. So they brought her in. By the way, it gets cold on Kilimanjaro. So you really got to know who your team is. Whether you're an athlete, you're in practice, you need to know your CAs, you need to know if they're behind you, if they're for you, if they're talking behind your back. Trust has to be there. So this is day 4, and she's dying, like legitimately. Like, it was like the worst I've ever seen, and I have an emergency medicine fellowship. To where I almost canceled our trip. I almost said it's not worth it to put her through this to accomplish this goal. But she dug deep because my why and her why were bigger than the trip itself, right? Like this was something about us getting through this together. So like she's literally like, and pole means literally just 1 step. Like this is the pace you're going sometimes on this mountain. Like sometimes you don't have to rush through things. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to not rush your healing. Trevor Hall music, check it out. You don't have to rush your healing. Like these are real concepts that come back to performance. But then it's moments like this. What do do you guys notice about this? Energy, right? When she was down, she was in the tent. Like, music is medicine. Talking about movement is medicine, right? Some of my best shamans that I've learned from, it's about the rhythm, it's about the beat, it's about the energy, it's about the voice, it's about the energy that we create from within that can expel without. And sometimes in chiropractic, what I think we do more than anything else is energy from within. We agree on that? Yeah. And it's the energy that you bring when you walk up to a patient or when they walk in your clinic. When that athlete steps on the field, what's that energy like? Like, is it like this, or is it like the beginning where there's an unknown about the whole entire environment? So I want you to listen to this.
Good morning, Dallas. Day 6. What do we do tonight? Excited? Are your adventuring days over?
So our energy's down. Your patient's energies are going to be down. Your energy's going to be down. But it ultimately comes back to your team. It comes back to who you have in your circle. It comes back to this. Taking a moment to appreciate the moment. Like, I'm sitting here right now in complete gratitude that I get to come over the pond and spend just a couple days, even though I'm flying back on Monday, just a few moments with some of my best friends. I get to spend a few moments with a few of you that I've got to create relationships with over the last several years, and now I'm getting to make new relationships. I get to step back into London, where I grew up as a kid, and I at least get to spend a minute and get epigenetic energy and get refilled and re-loved and refocused. So you've got to enjoy the moment. You've got to say, you know what, I'm okay where I'm at right now. I don't have to be so far ahead. It's awesome where I'm at. So we got to the summit and sunrise, right? And like, all I envisioned was when we get to the top is like the sunrise coming up. You always see these epic, like, amazing pics, and you get the kiss. This could be like anything that you set a goal for, whether it's mental, technical, tactical, equipment, or physical with your athlete or yourself. It's really important to understand that. Watch this.
Yeah, honey.
Now, do you think I walk this pace?
All the way to the sign.
No. Her and I run two different paths. Lawrence talked about this. You got to get really clear on your path and be okay being on your path.
Wow. Alright, all the way to the sign, sweetheart. You gotta do is touch it. Let's go, Dallas!
It's literally taking everything inside of her right now.
All the way to the sign, sweetheart.
She's dehydrated. She's sick. She's tired.
Keep coming. There it is. Come and touch it. Dalsliva Drake. All right. Anything to say?
You can laugh.
There's one more.
There's one more. I thought it was at the top. No, you have another hour from this point. This is called Stella's Point. This isn't the top of Kilimanjaro. But again, we had the right team. Like, I was literally pissed off at this point. I'm getting oxygen sickness. She's going slow. I want to go faster. But that's not what it's always about. When you're part of a team, you've got to go together. Like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Period. Great African proverb. This is us at the top of Kilimanjaro. And what I hope that you get out of this talk is that even within that, when you accomplish a goal, you're still going to need help. You still need to make sure that you have the right people around you. Because I'm telling you right now, when you hit that goal, you're going to see a different peak. Your patients are going to see a different peak. You've got to encourage your patients to understand lifestyle care and lifetime care. You've got to get your patients to get away from a pain model and get to a performance model. You've got to get your athletes to realize that they're not just coming to you for, quote, pain, they're coming to you for recovery, and they're coming for you for optimum performance. We sell in our clinic, these are the three main things that we do. Efficiency. Number one, I don't care how you move. I do care that you move efficiently. Efficient means that you can move efficiently based on what you can physically do. If you've got a physical limitation, whether that's brain, joint, or tissue, you will not move efficiently. Can we agree on that? Yeah. So if I can sell efficiency and I can sell them on a screen that I can teach them how to do based on their sport and their life, and they know limitation now, are they not more apt to be bought into care? Because now I've taken it away from pain and I've taken it to performance of actually what they can and can't do. The second is energy. Tomorrow I'm going to hit energy really hard, but we are a frequency. And I love that he said if you're 33, whatever hertz, that's what you're going to attract. Most of us are so low on energy, it is crazy. That's why you can't heal. That's why you can't perform. So using things like PMF, red light, hyperbaric oxygen. Now these are modalities, but still we can up the energy in the body, right? We can also do that through breath. And we'll finish with this in a second. So when you're conquering mountains and you're conquering your goals, or you're on your path, look at who's on your team. If people are toxic, cut them out. If they're telling you you can't, cut them out. Find the ones who are like, yeah, you can. I love you, I support you. When you're in your trials and tribulations, get friends like Connor on your team. That are calling you and telling you, dude, I love you, you're gonna get through this. Like Don, hey, you know what? We're there for you. That are writing you cards. That's the people you want in your life. That's the people that your athletes and your patients need in you, right? So watch this plastic video. What do you notice? Energy, right?
What's up? All right, Dallas.
Way different energy.
She made it. Karibu. Yuma. Yo.
Give back, no matter where you go. We have a gift in what we can do compared to so many other practitioners in this world. I adjust so many people around this globe that would have never been adjusted had they not been for our brain and our hands and our hearts. Like, we have a really special gift. So set an affirmation. I'm not going to go over the ice bath, but I am going to do this. Close your eyes for me real quick, and then we're going to close up. I want you to close your eyes. I just want you to notice your breath. I want you to notice your breath, and I want you just to be aware for a second. Is it soft? Is it heavy? Is it slow? Is it chaotic? Like, just feel that for a second. Look at your heart rate. Where are you at in this moment of sitting still? Because often our breath reflects our life and how we live our life. And if you are in a high stress or you're in anxiety mode right now sitting still, I'm telling you that's going to show up in your life and your performance. This is one of the tests that I do with all my athletes. I take a big breath in. How hard is that? Just think about this for a second. Now take 2 more sips. Go all the way out. Take another breath in. Hold. How hard is it to hold? Take 2 more sips. Breathe all the way out. What this shows us is that no matter how much we receive, we can receive more. So those of you that have a limited belief about being able to be given or accept, you can crush that right now. Accept that you can receive more. Take one more big breath in. Think about your audacious goal. Think about it, visualize it, put it into clarity, and hold it for a second. Now blow that goal out into the world. Let it go. Now, some of you aren't willing to accept that goal. I can see it in your face. I can see you shaking. I can see you moving. Do me a favor. Whatever's holding you back, the reason why, the fear, I don't care what it is, I want you to think about what that is, why you don't think you deserve it. Take a big breath in. Think about it. I want you to feel it. Because if you can't feel it, you can't heal this. Your patients can't heal this. Maybe you were told, hey, you know what? Money's bad. Those clothes are too good looking. You can't have that car. You can't live where you want to live. I don't care what it is. Maybe you were told, you're not good enough to be on the sports team. That was BS. I'm sorry. That wasn't true. Blow that out into the world. Let it go. Now tell yourself that you love yourself. Big breath in. And hold that. Like, feel it. Find a safe place inside of you. Because that's where performance comes at. We gotta be able to dive into that side of our body. Where's that safety? Like, you're safe. You're loved. Let that go. How do you feel right now? Now notice your breath. Is it calm? Is it congruent? Is it authentic? This is the true you. When you feel yourself getting stressed, or you feel yourself like, man, I have to do all these things, or I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve that. Come back to this safe space. Come back to that feeling. That's what we teach our athletes. Because we've got to get them to be able to calm down, right? That's why we use cold plunges, why we use things to add up the nervous system. So the biggest thing that I hope you got out of tonight's presentation versus tomorrow is that in order to have peak performance in life, you've got to have peak performance within your life. You can't help somebody else unless you're willing to do the work within, period. So can we all agree that if we're dealing with trauma, we're dealing with some type of issue, whether it's physical, like thoughts, traumas, and toxins, right? Those are our 3 T's. If you're personally dealing with one of those, commit to work on that over the next 60 days. If it's thoughts, get a one-on-one coaching with someone like Connor or Lawrence. Start to work through that, okay? If it's trauma, that can be somatic, physical, that can be something else. Get somebody in this room, if they practice for you, to start working on you. And then if it's like, especially toxins, start to talk to people like Simon and get on a good quality nutrition plan. Start to heal yourself. That's how we truly level up in performance. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So I love you guys. I don't want to take too much more time, so I gotta go eat. But I really am excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be super fun. Be ready to move. Be ready to be able to take stuff back to practice or school on Monday. And I thank you, Connor. Great job this weekend, buddy.